Good evening. So I know this, like, okay, so I was sitting there having my dinner, hot water bottle on my stomach, just listening to complete random noise on YouTube, thinking about how I'm proud of myself. I knocked it out the park. What I was put through over the last 4 years. I flung shoot it. That's what I was saying to myself. I flung shoot that right out the park. And I don't know why. I don't know why. But I started thinking about my movie, the Flung. I was going to call it the Flung Shoe Master, but I'm going to call it the Legend of the Flung Shoe Master because I have to write this complete mythological lore based on, like it's going to start off. The movie's going to start off with some in the beginning. There was blah blah, like Haku on Samurai Jack. I've said it before, and I want to film it so that it's like monkey. If you know monkey, I've talked about this before, right? This isn't a new movie concept. It's actually a storyline that I came up with many years ago because Gabriel and I used to have this back and forth thing about me being a flung shoe master and him being like, no. And I'm like, that's because I used my skills of psychological flung shoery. And he's like, no, sort of thing. So I came up with this whole thing. And I'm not going to go into the storyline because otherwise it just gives everything away. And it is a comedy, but it is based on, like I said, my dad raised me on horrors and martial arts movies and action movies. And so I grew up with like Shogi and John Saxon and Bruce Lee and Chow Yun Fat and Jet Li and, all of them. Jackie Chan. I grew up with all of them. Kareem Abdul-Jabbar. And one of my favourite movies is The Drunken Master. So it's kind of like me paying homage to The Drunken Master. So I'm sitting there all proud of myself, stuffing my face with my dinner, thinking about, I can't wait to make this martial arts movie. And then I thought, hang on a minute. I'm going to try not to laugh because if I laugh, I'm going to cause myself pain. I didn't realise that it means that, to do the stunts and choreography, this martial arts movie, the actors who, do all the fight scenes and whoever plays the flung shoe master, they're going to have to actually do flung shoe. So, I'm literally going to have to, invent a martial arts style. And I thought, hang on a minute. I don't know anything about martial arts. I'm going to have to find someone who can do martial arts, but can do, stunt work and all that can help me coordinate and help me create the flung shoe master fighting style based on a story I made up in my head to entertain my kids when they were younger. I don't even where how am I even going to begin that? I'm going to have to find someone who maybe is like a martial arts instructor, someone who has like a dojo or something, and work with someone who can do stunts in there as well. I mean, I know that a lot of these martial arts stars choreograph their own fighting scenes and stunts and all that sort of thing. But I'm just going to be like a school, like a kid's, I didn't think that one through. I've created a bit of a conundrum for myself. So I'm going to have to find someone who, obviously, with no acting skill, but only knows martial arts, and someone who can do. Actually, you know what? I'm wondering, now that I think about it, aren't there like bodyguards and stuff that can do? Maybe I can find a martial arts person who's also like a bodyguard who can do martial arts, because a lot of them do martial arts, isn't that right? Or someone who's a martial arts instructor who maybe did, because I'm just thinking, I mean, they're bound to exist, right? Like, it's not going to be impossible, surely, for me to find someone who can do martial arts and stunts, like be a stunt coordinator. But the thing is, he's going to have to work with me based on the story that I write, and it's a funny story. I have to create this whole lore around it, which is perfectly fine. I had fun doing it. It's hilarious. But then we're going to have to try and fashion some sort of martial arts style that's never been done before, because we can't have people say, oh, well, that's ninjutsu, oh, that's karate, oh, that's blah, because it's not. It's Flung Shu. The actual martial arts is called Flung Shu. And he's the Flung Shu master, and legend tells that the Flung Shu master is this, that, and the other. And he's so elusive and so rare that he hasn't been seen for 10,000 years, all that sort of thing. So it's like I didn't quite think that one through, did I? He's going to have to be someone who knows that, oh, you can't do that because Jackie Chan did that, or that's too much like blah, or Jean-Claude Van Damme did that and so. And we're going to have to create a completely new martial arts style for this movie and coordinate it with stunts that this poor kid, I say kid, but he's going to be like in his early 20s, maybe even 30. And the thing is, I don't know if I want him to be a little bit chonky or a bit too thin. Like, I don't know, because it is a comedy. There is going to be comedy in it, if you know what the Drunken Master's like. And if you know what Monkey is like, it's a bit more serious than that. Basically, just think of a Jackie Chan movie, because it's paying homage to, although I always did kind of fancy Jet Li. I always thought he was a bit yummity scrummity. But yeah, Jackie Chan, like, I loved his movies, and I loved The Drunken Master. So just think of along the lines of that kind of comedy in that, but with a smaller budget. I didn't think that one through. So whoever I work with, he's going to have to be really creative in helping me, because I've already got like a whole pile of fight scenes in my head. I've already written like a whole pile of fight scenes, and from day one of video games and that coming out, I've always said to my boys, there's nothing more beautiful in a video game than when they bring like the Asian arts into the graphics, like Vegas 6 when he's going through the Chinese restaurant, and Crackdown, you are fool. All of that. Like, it's absolutely beautiful. I love like Chinese and Japanese and Korean graphics and that in video games. It just looks absolutely stunning. And the same in movies. There's just something about it. There's just something about those style of graphics and art and that from the ancient days, and that I just absolutely love it. And I haven't decided if he's going to be like Japanese or Chinese or Korean or anything like that. I just naturally assume probably Chinese, but I don't know. I honestly don't know. I just know that he's a martial artist and he is going to be Asian, obviously, but I haven't decided what, but or where. But now I'm thinking like, I don't even know what to say. He's going to have to be someone who can do martial arts, but also does, it can be like a stunt coordinator, knows how to do to incorporate actual fighting, like you would if you were a security guard or bodyguard or something, but also can do martial arts. And it's in the ancient days, it would be like, in the ancient dynasties and all that. So it's not like there'd be guns or anything, but it doesn't mean to say that he couldn't pick up a broom or a mop or chopsticks or, something like that, a goose, and use it to fight with. Not a real goose, you know what I mean? I'm just, making it up as I go, but you know what I mean? But it means that we're going to have to create a brand new style. And believe me when I say there's people out there that are going to know the second our little character starts fighting, that's ninjutsu, that's not flung, that's ninjutsu. That's judo, that's sumo, that's this, that's that. So we're either going to have to create a brand new martial arts style, fighting style, or I'm going to have to base the legend on all other martial arts styles were based on this one legend of the Flung shoe. And then maybe we can incorporate a little bit of everything into it and get away with it that way. Help! It's going to be funny though. I can't wait to record it. It's one of those movies that I'm gonna like run to my movie theatre to go and see when we have the premiere, because all our movies will have a premiere where all the actors and everyone will get to walk the red carpet and get all zhuzhed up. It'll give us an excuse to wear our tuxedos and ball gowns and that. Even if the red carpet is only like, from here to the driveway long, they're going to walk the red carpet. And then we'll have people taking photos to put up on all our social medias, and we'll invite like movie critics and that from all over the world and put on like a big thing. They can take their photos for their social media and their magazines and get it all promoted out there with our marketing people and that. But, our kids and our actors and our crew and that will get to feel like stars for the night every time we bring out a movie. And then I get to put on a gown and, have my man and my tuxedo man on my arm walking the red carpet. Just for us, just for fun, So, oh my God, so yeah, I didn't think that one through. So I have two options. I've either got to find someone who can help me create a style. How many martial arts stunt people out there, fight coordinators out there have longed or have longed to create their own martial arts style? Who would be willing to come and work with us? Or I have to write it so that the legend says it's the oldest martial arts style and that all other martial arts that came after it was based on Flung Shu. And the reason why, see if Gabriel was here, be like, no. The reason why they created all their own martial arts is because mastering Flung Shu was like considered to be the impossible martial arts. You have to climb 10,000 mountains in order to reach the gods to be taught, like all these like ridiculous legends that, even the mere mention of the name, like if you mention the real name of this martial arts style, it wipes a generation of your family out. Like that's because it's so deadly. It's the martial arts that like kicks on the wind sort of thing. I used to say that to Gabriel and he'd be like, yeah, okay. I'd say, don't, because I'll use the flunk show and he's like, yeah, whatever. I'll be like, you can pretend like you're not scared now, but I promise you, One day you're going to wake up in the middle of the night screaming in terror, and you'll be like, why am I so afraid? And I said, and you'll hear the whisper on the wind, flung shoe. And you were like, Mum used flung shoe on me. And Gabriel would be like, no. And I'm like, you're just saying that because you're psychologically traumatized by the fact that I'm threatening to use flung shoe on you. And he's like, no. And I'm like, yeah, but if you went to therapy and they were saying, why are you like this? You would have to say, because it's the fear of living with the flung shoe. And he's like, yeah, no, I wouldn't. And I'm like, but you're only saying that now because you're traumatized. That's the trauma talking. You've got the flung shoe PTSD, I'd say. And he'd go, no, I haven't. But, we'd have this whole back and forth. He'd be like, oh, Mum, I've got a sore knee. And I'd say, that's because I used flung shoe. And you remember like 7 months ago. And he's like, no, it's because I kicked it on the side of the table. And I'm like, no, but that was flung shoe. Maybe I flung shoed you to kick. Maybe I used the table to use the flung shoe on you. And it's like, no, like that was our whole back and forth. So I had fun coming up with the storyline, and I can't wait to sit down and, with my script writers and that, and turn it into a whole thing. But now I'm going to have to find someone who can do, like, obviously we're not going to be talking about dangerous stunts. I'm not going to do anything that puts my kids in danger. I'm even hesitant about using pyrotechnics in anything. But yeah, he's going to have to be someone who knows how to fight, who can do martial arts, who can coordinate the fight scenes, that's funny, that's based on maybe something that's never been done before, or based on a little bit of everything. It depends on how creative he is. So if I said to him, right, so in the first scene, it's this, and this, and he sees this and he does this, and here's the script and blah, blah, blah. How do you see that fight scene going? Or how do you see him training? And bear in mind, you have to try and make something up that hasn't been done before. I wonder, how creative he'd be. There's got to be someone out there who does martial arts and can do stunt coordination and fight scenes and all that, who has this, I have an idea for a martial arts that's never been done before, but he's never had the opportunity to use it or do it or practice it. Would someone like that out there exist, do you think? And it doesn't matter where in the world he is, I would fly him in, and he'd get paid and he'd get all the credit, and he might even win an award at our Northie Awards ceremony, which is like our version of the Oscars and the Grammys, and they're all rolled into one. Oscars, Grammys, Emmys, and they're all rolled into one because we're only a little foundation. And then the thing is, because there's going to be fight scenes in all my horror movies and that as well, and even like Invisible Tears, the one to do with the domestic violence, and the woman who survives the domestic violence and that, and yeah. No, my Invisible Tears one is the one where she no, because I blended the two, didn't I? I can't remember. Well, they're two separate movies, I think. I decided to make them two separate movies again. You have to bear with me, because I'm trying to write as many different genres as I can. Some of them barely have any meat on the bones, and some of them I'm starting to fill out now, because basically what's going to happen is we're going to put everything into a hat, and whatever we pull out is the one we make. And I have to be able to give the script writers enough to help me turn it into something with the kids. But some have been given more attention than others. And the ones that haven't been given as much attention is because they're still seeds that I planted that haven't grown into anything yet because I've been having to focus on other things. So just forgive me. But yeah, so I need to, like, it needs to be his job, basically. I need to find someone out there who can do martial arts, or has, like, he has to be able to be someone who can confidently orchestrate fight scenes, especially in the Legend of the Flung Master, who can do, yes, stunts and coordinate fight scenes in all our movies. Who's kind of like, I have an idea for martial arts, but he's not done anything with it. And then when I give him the script, it gives him the opportunity to work with what he knows. And if he has like a history of like being a bodyguard or a bouncer or a security guard, or because he can work with weapons, because obviously like with the Night of the Black Sun, the kids are going to have to do fight scenes and driving scenes and that, where they're using guns and fighting zombies and all that sort of thing, where they're going to have someone teach them how to do it all. So it's going to have to be a full-time job. Weapons expert, martial artist, stunt coordinator, someone who's prepared to give it a go, or a small team of them that work together, who have patience and they're calm and they aren't going to yell and scream at the kids. But Flung Shu's going to be like a village of people, so I'm going to need to, I'm just trying to think. I'm going to have to film it where I bring in a lot of local Asian people, like Korean, Chinese, Japanese, wherever, possibly Chinese. I'm thinking probably Chinese. Flung Shu does sound Chinese, so I'm probably thinking Chinese. I'm going to have to bring in like a whole pile of Chinese people who have never acted before, who are prepared to play the villagers and the emperor and all this and that, to come and shoot on location at the foundation. I'm going to have to go around to like Chinese businesses in the country I live in. Or I could make them Mongolian or Siberian. I mean, they would be the people that knew how to ride the horses and do all sorts of things with. I mean, you know what Mongolians and Siberians are like for their horse riding skills, and I mean they're phenomenal. Maybe I could make them Mongolian. Or yeah, because I'm just thinking like Mulan. Yep, didn't think that one through, but now I've had to think it through. So there's one of two ways I can go about it. I'm just hoping and praying that the Lord pulls down the man I need from the skies, from the moon. If he's on that side of the world, it's going to be nighttime there, so pulling him down from the ethers. Bring him to me, bring him to me, bring him to me. The person I need to make my Flung Shu movie. There's bound to be people out there that can do what I'm asking for, that's prepared to give up their entire life to come and work for the foundation, to be like, work in our stunt department, like run the stunt department. Because, like, see, with my Quantum Menace 1, which is my version of Rambo, whoever plays the young version of Ben is going to have to learn how to use all sorts of weapons and do survival training and all of that sort of thing, because it is, me paying homage to Rambo. I love the Rambo movies. I love the Rambo movies. I loved the Schwarzenegger movies and that as well. And Van Damme I adored because I thought he was a bit of a hottie. but when I was a kid. But Rambo were the ones that just blew my mind. I just absolutely adored the Rambo movies. So my nephew is actually going to be helping me because he's the one that helped me write that script for it, for the Quantum Menace one, The Fourth Son. So I'm going to need experts. Well, if you were really in the jungle, if you were really having to do this under a bridge, if you were really, this is how we would have done it. You know, I want everything to be accurate. Everything needs to be. I'm a stickler for continuity, so everything has to be historically accurate. Everything has to be accurate to how it was if it was happening in real life. That's why I said with my zombie movie, a lot of people might freak out. I might get a bit of flack for it because I'm like James Herbert. If it was going to happen in real life, it's going to affect babies and kids. So there are going to be kids in that get turned into zombies. Because with me, it's all about continuity. You got to keep it real. If this happened in real life, and because that's the thing, one of the draws about my movie when it comes to the supernatural and paranormal and occult stuff, it did happen in real life. I can prove this stuff happened in real life. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So, what do you think would be better? Like, what do you think the possibilities are of there being a man out there who can do martial arts, who knows all about security and weapons training and survival training, and can do stunts and all that, knows how to do a stunt drop, a stunt roll, all that sort of thing, that he can safely teach the children, maybe like is a martial arts instructor or something, who has an idea to create a martial arts style that's never been done before, who's looking to get into movies. As long as he wasn't famous, where I'd even let him maybe even have a small role in it if he wanted to be an actor. But I'm kind of hoping that he would. He's just is dying to teach what he knows. That he's dying to get his hands in movies where he can shoot things up and get the kids to flip over things and do flung shoe mastery. What are the odds? Who am I going to have to pray for that one? I'm thinking maybe Shansu or Hoth or Shansu. I'm thinking I might have to do or Akhenaten. I'm thinking Shansu. He's gonna know. He'll know. Right, so there we go. I didn't think that one through. Now I've thought it through. I'm slightly panicking, but I'm also excited because I'm thinking the universe is going to draw this person down. The right person is going to be drawn into my life who's going to help me make these incredible movies with these kids and these undiscovered actors. And I just need to find a group of people from that nationality who are prepared to just be extras in the movie, to have like small speaking roles, to have big acting roles, who've never acted a day in their life but want to give it a go for the sake of the children. That I can talk into. I'm going to have to send people around to their businesses and their restaurant. Or their churches, do you want to be in a movie? Like put pamphlets and stuff around, go around to their online community notice boards and that and say, we're looking for 200 people of blah origin who can either do martial arts or not, who are prepared to, earn some money to be in a movie, 6-week filming, blah, 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 come for auditions. And then just hope and pray that there's people that go, yeah, I'll do that. Because it's going to help kids from my country. because I want to get kids from all over the world. When I do my talent show and that, I want to get them from all over the world. And if I don't have enough room to fit them all in the one year, then they get signed up and get on the list to be the students the next year. And then if I'm lucky enough to be able to build schools in other countries, have multiple schools, then they can fill those places up in the other schools. Go big or go home. Right, so I'm going to go. But yeah, come on, Lord, bring him to me, drop him in my lap. Hi, my name's so and so. You don't know me, but I think I'm the person for you. Oh, and I know someone who was in the military, and he's perfect for what you need. See, when I was in America, there was a guy that ran the gym at the beauty salon that I stayed at in Wisconsin, and he had some friends who were ex MMA fighters who had fallen on hard times, who were looking to be my bodyguards, because I'm going to need bodyguards and that. So yeah, we had it all set up. I had these couple of guys who were I'd spoken to one of them, and I was getting ready to talk to the other one, and they were MMA fighters. I mean, I could do, if there's guys like that out there, that are looking to teach fighting scenes for my Quantum Menace movies, because Quantum Menace 2 is our superhero movie. The Quantum Menace 2, The Battle of Two Worlds, is after he's figured out who he is and he's mastered his supernatural powers, and he meets up with the Mutant Legion, and that there's going to be fight scenes. So, I'm going to need like a stunt department, basically. A stunt coordinator, stunt department. So, firearms experts, martial arts, stunt coordinators, safe pyrotechnics. I had a big discussion with this with Gabriel, because he said, like, if you're going to do it, you got to do it for real. You got to have pyrotechnics. And I said, I'm scared, because, you hear horror stories all over the place in Hollywood about pyrotechnics that have gone wrong and it set people on fire. And I couldn't live with myself if any of the kids got hurt. So I was always hesitant, but he's saying you can't really do it any other way without it looking like cheap and inauthentic. And I thought, yeah, he is right. So, but yeah, there's going to have to be like strict as safety standards, and where the kids are kept away. If we've got to have a car explode and flip over, it's not going to be when there's any, if I have to use a green screen to have the kid in the background so that the kid's kept away, then that's what I'll do. I wouldn't mind using a green screen for that, but yeah, it's just I couldn't live with myself if any of the kids got hurt. The guilt would eat me alive. So yeah, I'm going to need the best of the best, who, when it comes to like safety and all of that, it is absolutely paramount. I don't want kids getting broken arms, or they might get bruises and achy bones and need hot baths and that sort of thing. But yeah, oh, I'll have a medical department there anyway. We're going to have like on-call nurses and like a paramedic station and that for the first aid and all that anyway. We'll have a doctor on call in case we need it, and I'll be we'll make sure that we're in really good with like the local police department and fire department and the local hospital and paramedics and that. Like, I'll invite them to all the things and give them free tickets and free food and that to get on their good side, so that if I have to borrow a couple of them to say, hey, look, we're shooting a scene with some pyrotechnics with the kids involved, can you bring an ambulance down just in case? Can you bring a couple of firemen down just in case? Although, having said that, I have an idea for a Halloween thing that would involve all of them. But I'm not going to go into details. The only reason why I haven't said anything yet is because I don't know how it's the morals and ethics of it. Because it's the sort of thing where everyone would be involved except everyone would know but. But I don't know how far to take it. I mean, I could, it's like I said to Thomas and Gabriel, we could take this all the way to, where we involve the radio stations and the news and all that, or, we just keep it contained within ourselves and hope we don't get lawsuits. It just, the thing is, when you buy the tickets to get into the gates of my Halloween feast, because, we're going to be, it's all going to be free, but there's some, like when we put on the big Halloween night, for Halloween night, because we're going to have a whole month of Halloween stuff and all the stalls and, where you'll get to win like prize bags and that. That's what I was working on with my girl Amber before she died. She was helping me do the whole Halloween thing. And we'll have the haunted house and, you'll be able to like experience the haunted house and that. But on Halloween night, I have this idea. And you'll have to buy tickets for it. But if you're buying tickets for it, when you engage in my Halloween stuff, it's with the expectation if your kids are going to be soft, you take them to the kiddie Halloween corner. Don't engage. That's what my dad used to say. If you're going to cry and get scared and scream, you're not going to sit down and watch this movie with me. Because they were horrors. And I was like, 9, 8, 9. So it's the same thing. If your kids are going to be weenies about them, keep them on that side. Don't bring them over here. But if you're bringing over here, there's like no holds. No holds barred. Is that it? No bars. No bars. Yeah, no holds barred. Like when you come over, it's like all bets are off. You just have to understand. It's a performance. It's a Halloween. It's Halloween. Nothing is as it seems. So if you see, because like I desperately want to be like the corpse bride and have like a headless horseman driving around in an old Victorian carriage or old Victorian hearse and scare the bejeebers out of the kids and that when they're out picking pumpkins and stuff. So if you're going to get scared, don't get involved. But there's one, because we've come up with a couple of haunted house. So we've got a couple of years of haunted house ideas all ready to go. But there was one idea that I had that I don't know. I don't know. But I would only be able to do it once. We'd never ever be able to do it again. It would be like a one night only thing. But if we did it, I tell you what, people would never forget it. It would be the epic Halloween night scare performance in Halloween performance history. So, yeah, I don't know. I'll have to wait and see. People would definitely have to sign a legal waiver, a caveat. They'd have to sign a thing when they bought the tickets. It's not the sort of thing where we could just let the public in. We'd have to keep it all contained by knowing how many people were there, the ages of the people who bought the tickets, like that sort of thing. Yeah, so the boys are like, do it, Mum, do it. And I was like, yeah, but, and I'm like, oh my God, but Mum, that's such a good idea, just do it. And I'm like, I want to, I really do. But I'd probably have to sit down with lawyers and stuff and say, like, and the aforementioned departments and say, like, legally, what could I get away with? But if I was allowed to get away with it, man, oh my God. Anyway, that's my future. And I need people who really want to get involved in this. And if there's anyone out there that thinks they can fit that role for the Flung Master movie and that, then let the gods lay him in my lap. Chonsu, come on. Chonsu loves me. He was one of my teachers. So, okay, so there we go. So, yeah, putting it out there. I'll speak to you later. Ka kite anō.